News here from the FAA. It says that it will cut about 10% of flights at 40 major airports starting tomorrow. And experts say if you're flying anytime soon, it is time to make some backup plans. About 15 minutes ago, United Airlines announced it has started adjusting its schedule. So if your flight is impacted, you will be automatically rebooked. And United is avoiding cancellations for long-haul international flights and hub flights out of Dulles International. Joining us now to help us navigate this is Becky Blaine, managing editor of The Points Guy. Becky, thanks so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so can you help us understand better why the FAA had to make this decision?
Yeah, because of the shutdown and some of the lack of staffing for air traffic controllers, they've decided to throttle traffic across the United States skies. So it makes sense from a safety standpoint. And so they're reducing traffic by 10%, which equates to about 4,000 flights a day when you total it up. And we're already starting to see some of those cancellations roll in. Just a few minutes ago, it was over 400 so far.
What advice would you give to passengers whose flights are canceled? What should passengers be doing ahead of these major disruptions, or is there something that they can do?
So you can either choose not to travel and accept the refund from the Department of Transportation. Rules say you're entitled to a refund from the airline. If you choose to travel, and like you said, they are rebooking some passengers and moving passengers around, then you can accept that new flight. Or a lot of the airlines have already proactively come out today and relaxed their policies and said you can change your flight and reschedule yourself with no penalty. So you could choose to bump it to a few days later to see how everything kind of shakes out over the next few days. But you do have options. We also suggest maybe using your points and miles. This is when they come in very handy. Booking yourself a backup flight, either for another time or on another carrier, if you really absolutely need to get somewhere quick.
Right. So what happens if your flight gets canceled and you're already at the airport? What can you do?
If it was me, I would immediately go onto the app for my airline and rebook myself on something later in the day. But usually they are knowing far enough in advance that you should check before you leave for the airport to know if your flight will be impacted or not. So make sure that you are opted in for text and emails. Your information is up to date in your airline's app so you can be notified. And then also check sites and apps like FlightAware is one that I like to use because that also has plane information and it's updated. You can see where a flight is at any given time. You can see if your, incoming flight is going to be delayed, things like that.
Right. Could this directive have ripple effects beyond canceled flights? For example, more delays and gate changes or oversold flights? And what should travelers be alert for or be on the aware of?
Oh, I think I lost you for a second.
Oh, I was just asking, Becky, if there would be a ripple effect beyond the canceled flights. So more delays or gate changes and that type of thing, oversold flights.
There could potentially be. We, have not yet seen that, but time will tell, mostly tomorrow, when more of these cancellations start taking effect, what is happening and what passengers are choosing to do and how the airlines are handling it.
Of course, this is happening at the worst time with the holiday season just around the corner, just weeks away, actually. I think it's like 21 days until Thanksgiving. What advice would you give people planning to fly somewhere for the holidays?
Look at flights that maybe are the first of the day, nonstop if you can. Avoid some of these regional flights are the ones that seem to be getting canceled first versus those long-haul international versus hub to hub. And always be checking your flight information, like I said, before you even leave for the airport. But having a backup plan too, make that plan B. Is it easier to take a train? Is it easier to drive? All options should be on the table right now.
All right, other modes of transportation might be a good idea. Becky Blaine, managing editor of The Points Guy. Thanks so much, Becky.